Hi and welcome to Outdoor World Direct. Today we're going to take a look at the Outdoor Revolution Kalahari PC7. It's a 7-man tent. It's based on the Airedale 7SE, but instead of using polyester fabric, it uses the polycotton fabric, which is a much more versatile fabric. The tent weighs 65 kilograms due to the polycotton design, and the pack size of it is 91 centimeters by 72 centimeters by 60 centimeters. So naturally it might need two of you to lift it in and out of the car, but the positives of the polycotton fabric really do outweigh the negatives. I will quickly take you through some of the great features of this tent and why it's become so popular and why it won Best Luxury Tent of the Year in 2020. So some of the great features of the Kalahari, we've mentioned that it's got the polycotton fabric. Polycotton is a really versatile fabric. It's good in cold weather, it's good in hot weather, it's a breathable fabric, so you're not going to get as much condensation if you're using polycotton as opposed to polyester. The two downsides of it is, number one, it's heavier. Number two, it takes a little longer to dry out if you have encountered some bad weather. So they're really the negatives of it. Other than that, it's a far superior product in terms of what it can achieve and how long it will last and how it will cope with the elements. The second great feature of the Kalahari and most Outdoor Revolution tents really is their oxygen airframe system. These are really thick, strong beams. They're probably the thickest beams that you'll see on a tent in the family tent market. So these thicker beams give you a lot of reassurance and peace of mind that it's going to be able to cope with the weight of the fabric and that it's going to be able to cope with the weather conditions as well. The oxygen airframe system has an intelligent frame weave system on it, and what that is that if you overinflated the beam or if the beam does expand in heat, it will let any excess air out. So that's really helpful, and again it's more peace of mind that the beam won't overexpand or that you can't put too much air into it. They're so confident in their beams, they give you a lifetime warranty on them, so if you ever suffer a puncture, you can get a replacement free of charge from the manufacturer, but you must register your warranty within 7 days. The other really popular feature of both the Airedales and the Kalaharis is these side annexes. So the Kalahari PC7 has one side annex and it's to the left hand side of the tent. This side annex is really versatile space. You can use it for storage, you can put an additional bedroom in this space. It actually can be used as an entry exit point from the tent because it actually has a doorway here as well. There's a mesh panel underneath here again to provide a bit of breathability into this area if you are to put a sleeping pod in there. One thing that's worth mentioning is that the ground sheet, you'll just see it just there below the fabric here, that actually toggles up to the polycotton fabric, so it's not fully sealed on this doorway. So that's just a really important point. Some people really want a tent that's fully sealed all the way around, but although the ground sheet is sewn in, it's just where the door meets, it actually velcros and toggles into place, so it's not stitched on that little bit there. But otherwise this is a really great area, it's perfect for storage, you can make of that space what you will really. So when you unbox your tent, you'll find that you get the Outdoor Revolution double action pump inside your tent. These are rolled inside the middle of the tent typically, but that's the pump that comes with it. The other thing when you take out the box, because it's a big heavy unit, this has a wheeled carry bag. So once it's out of the car, it's much easier to move the tent around. It's just going to be getting it in and out of the car that's going to be the struggle, but if there's two of you, it's easily manageable. If we look at the front of the tent, we have a pelmet up here for attaching a front awning. So if you want to make the tent bigger again, you can do so by adding an additional front awning. It's worth also pointing out that to the side you can add a veranda over the side door, and that's a really nice area to sit on the side of the tent. You can just get a polyester veranda and add more space there. So you've got both an awning and an optional veranda that you can actually add to even increase the space more. But typically, this is a huge tent which has got enough space for 5 to 6 people. It might not need those optional extras, it just depends how much space you really want. So to the front area of this tent, this is the porch area. We've mentioned you can put an awning on. There's also storm straps either side of the porch, and there's some storm straps on the rear of the tent as well. The front and the rear of the tent are typically the areas that take a bit more of a battering from the elements, so that's why they put storm straps on there. This area of the tent can be fully enclosed. This door can be sealed all the way down to this side here. Ultimately, you can use this door how you want. You can have it halfway open, you can have it a quarter like we have here, or you can just get rid of it and obviously put it back up against that beam there. So this area, typically people use it for storage, or they might use it to relax in an evening. You can put some chairs in here. Also, if you get caught out by the weather, there's no reason why you couldn't open all these doors, and there's a mesh window to the side that can be opened as well if you wanted to cook in this area, if it was raining heavily outside and you had no option to do so. We have tinted windows here. These are anti-glare windows, and the purpose of them is just to take the glare off the sun, so that if you're inside the tent and the sun's glaring through, it should just reduce that glare a little bit. All the windows in this area are backed by privacy curtains, some of which are zipped, some of which are toggled, but mainly they are zipped. So the side ones are zipped. The two just in the front of the corners here, they're actually toggled curtains, and these ones on the door are zipped as well. So we've typically got zipped windows in this area, which means you can make it private of an evening. You've also got windows in the roof panel as well, one on either side. Because it's quite a darker fabric, they've put windows either side just to let more light in during the day, so it's not too dark in here during the day. Windows are the only windows that you can't cover via a privacy curtain, because there's no curtain that goes up to the roof panel. But obviously, because they're taller than most people, nobody's typically going to be able to see through them anyway. So taking a look at some of the interior shots of this tent now. First of all, you've noticed you've got a full panel here. On some of these tents you can fully remove this panel. On this one it is a set panel, but this door is huge. So this door runs all the way from one side to here. So it covers a good 60% of the panel. So if you are wanting to have this as an open space, you can still open that door right out. You have a mesh panel up here. This helps again get a bit of airflow into the tent. Although even it's more breathable than polyester, you still want plenty of meshing just to get that airflow and reduce any condensation buildup you might have. So this is a D door. What we mean by that is you've got to step over it to get in. So if you've got prams and wheelchairs, be mindful that you will have a slight rise on this door. Just one last point to this front door here. We have a window either side. Both of them are backed by privacy zipped curtains as well. So if you want to close them off of an evening, you can do so. So if we take a look at inside the Kalahari, first things, we've got a window to the right and we've got a window to the left, and we've got roof panel windows as well on either side. This is great for letting some light in because it is a bit of a darker fabric, this tent, so it needs more light in. They're backed by zipped privacy curtains which come up to here. They don't cover the roof panel lights, but they don't need to because nobody will be able to see through them anyway. Also, we've got the door to the left, or my left should I say, and that's backed by a secondary mesh door as well. So if you wanted to open the cotton door and have a mesh door there, you can do so to get more airflow in. Underneath both windows there's mesh panels as well, and you should always have the mesh ventilation points open once the tent's pitched, just to create airflow into this area, because it is a sewn-in ground sheet. With sewn-in ground sheets, it is harder for any moisture to get out. Even though this cotton is breathable, it's still a good idea to have the mesh ventilation points open. We also have the side annex, which has made this tent really, and made the Airedale range of tents by having this usable space to the side of the tent. This has a sewn-in ground sheet, but the sewn-in ground sheet doesn't meet the fly sheet door, so it velcros up or toggles up. So there is a small gap between the door and the ground sheet there. Now, if that's a problem and you're worried about the bugs, you can seal this door off and seal this area that I'm stood in right now. That's not a problem. This area, you can use it to hang clothing because it comes with a clothing rail. You can put an additional 2-person inner in here as well, called a side annex inner. That's on our website if you want to check it, and that will add space for 2 more people. Or you can use it for storage and putting things like bikes. It's quite a tall area, you can stand in this area, so it's not a problem. You've got loads of space here. We've also put the carpet in this tent as well, just to add a bit more comfort. The carpet's really helpful in terms of stopping the cold air coming up from the ground of an evening. So if you're an early season camper, a carpet's always a good investment just to keep it warmer inside the tent. Finally, if we take a look at the sleeping pods, this is a deeper sleeping pod. It has a much greater depth, which means you can get camp beds in lengthways as we have here. You've got space for up to 7 people in here, but typically I'd say it's perfect for 4 or 5 people if you want to be comfortable. So that's what I would say. You have zip dividers as well, so you can configure this how you want. You can have it as one large open inner tent, or you can put the 2 dividers in to make a 2, 3 and a 2. It's a darkened fabric, so the darkened fabric's really good for minimising early morning light, and it'll help you sleep for longer. Also, you have mesh in the windows here, mesh windows here, which again are backed by curtains if you want to close them, but again that gets more breathability into the tent. If this sleeping compartment's not enough. I've already mentioned you can add a 2-person to the side, and just to the front here you can add an additional 2-person inner. So this tent can actually go up to 11 people if you want to, but it'd probably be more comfortable for 7 or 8 if you did do that. But typically this is quite a large sleeping compartment, and if I was going to put another sleeping pod in here, it would be in the side annex, so you've got this as your living space. That about concludes the interior of the tent. I'm just going to take up some of the optional extras now. So as we've mentioned, there is some optional extras available for this tent. First of all, we've got the zip-on front awning, so you can add another awning to make the tent even bigger. There's a veranda that goes over this side door here and creates a nice open living space to the side of the tent if you want. There's a matching carpet which we've shown you inside the tent, which just promotes a bit of warmth and comfort on colder days. There's also a footprint ground sheet which covers the sewn-in living space, and that's really helpful for ensuring that you pack your tent away clean and dry at the end of your camping trip, because the ground sheet underneath should take all the moisture and damp off the ground, and then the tent should be clean and dry when you pack it away. There's also a lounge liner which can cover the beams and prevent condensation and just make it look a bit homelier inside. That covers the living space and it just hides the beams and the roof panels. And then the last accessories are the optional inners. So there's an optional 2-person inner for the front area just to the front, and you can get an Annex inner which sleeps 2 people to the side of the tent as well. So that covers your optional extras. You can typically find them on our bundle deals on our website if you follow the link on the description. So to recap the Kalahari PC family tent, it's a Polycotton 7-man family tent. It's got ample living space throughout. It's really customizable with all the optional extras that you can add, whether it be sleeping compartments or extra living space in the form of a porch. It's got a great free zone design. It's really versatile to different climates because of the fabric that's used. This is perfect for your seasoned camper that wants an elite tent that's going to last them quite a long time and take them through many camping adventures. If you do have any questions, please do pop them in the comments box. Thanks for watching today. Bye.